You are about to take an ideal journey through southern Europe, from Barcelona to Rome, through the south of France, visiting Provence and the Côte d'Azur and the Italian Riviera, to the beautiful seaside villages of Cinque Terre. Starting in Barcelona, Spain, you'll see Sagrada Familia and other architectural masterpieces by Gaudi. On to Carcassonne. It's a walled medieval fortress, a castle up on the hill. To Avignon. This program presents an ideal itinerary for seeing southern Europe. Nice will be home base for 3 days, with day trips out to wonderful destinations like Cannes, Saint Paul, Antibes, and Monaco. Leaving France, you'll enter the Italian Riviera, visiting Cinque Terre and Portofino, ending with the grand finale in Rome, filled with history, pasta, and vino. Let's get started with this train trip along the shores of the Mediterranean. Barcelona, one of the great cities of Europe. You can easily see the main attractions in just a few days by walking through its square-mile historic center. And be sure to see Barcelona's most famous building, Sagrada Familia, that fantasy church designed by the eccentric architectural genius Gaudi. It would be smart to spend most of your time in and around the old section of town called the Barri Gothic or Gothic Quarter, a giant pedestrian zone surviving from the ancient days. Barcelona has a large number of important historic sites and museums, shops, and tourist destinations, but the best attraction for many visitors will simply be this large pedestrian district. Barcelona is a bicultural city, with influence of Spain, of course, and Catalonia mixed together freely. Those little piazzas really create a wonderful atmosphere of spending some leisure time and enjoying the space here. Pursuit of architectural masterpieces created by Antoni Gaudi is a major visitor activity in Barcelona, and one of the best is his phantasmagoric Park Güell, a whimsical whirl of colored ceramics, sculptures, sinuous benches, weird buildings, bizarre pavilions, and curved paths winding through a lush garden setting with a view across the city from its hilltop perch. 2 homes that Gaudi built are open as public museums now on the main street, the Passeig de Gràcia, Casa Batlló and Casa Mila. Every city has a few special places where people gather together to experience the delightful ambience, and very often you will find that the main food market is one of the most exciting destinations in town. Well, this market is housed in an old-fashioned steel and glass structure that was first built in the mid-19th century, with an elaborate steel facade that was put up in the modernista style about a century ago. The Mercat de la Boqueria resembles some of those other great food halls that were once found throughout Europe's major cities. You do know about the tapas of Spain, this great little snack food, and now we're going to show you some of the best in Barcelona. This restaurant has the typical array of a wonderful taparia, and plus it has these outdoor tables with waiter service and waitress bringing the food to you. Great service and really friendly people, and the food was so delicious. We have a lot more to show you about Barcelona in our other movies, but this program is a quick summary of the entire trip from Barcelona to Rome, so we're moving along. We'll be traveling by train from Barcelona to Carcassonne in the south of France. The walled town of Carcassonne in the southwest corner of France is a beautifully preserved medieval village with a castle in the center. The whole village is like a castle because it's surrounded by 2 fortified walls, and within the walls is just a small town about a half a mile across with buildings preserved from the 15th century. Google Earth provides a spectacular view of the old town of Carcassonne, showing very clearly the double wall that goes all the way around the medieval center, and the castle and the turrets. It's really a spectacular perspective thanks to Google Earth. When you're visiting Carcassonne, you'll find it's very rewarding to stroll about on the lanes that are inside the village. It's not a large city by any means. The village itself is less than a mile long and about a half a mile wide, so it's easy to walk around inside the village and get a nice feeling for it. There are only a few hotels inside the walls of the old town, and that's where you want to stay. Hotel Le Donjon, it's great. So we're going to walk all the way around the village on the wall. As we show in these maps here, the white line was our first walk, and then you continue on in between the walls, which brings you all the way around to the castle. We have many more movies about Carcassonne available to you on our YouTube channel. From Carcassonne, we travel by train into the heart of Provence and the great city of Avignon, our home base for the next 4 days. Avignon is a treasure house of palaces, museums, and meandering lanes in Provence in the south of France. Home to the popes for 100 years in the 14th century. A wall runs around it, which means that the old town is beautifully preserved with large pedestrian zones. The number one historical attraction is the Palace of the Pope, and next to it, the Church of Notre Dame. Walk a few minutes north from the Place du Palais into a lovely public park called the Rocher des Doms, resting on the top of a small hill overlooking the old town. You also have a beautiful view of the Rhone and the Castle of Saint-André beyond. Back out onto the Place de l'Horloge, lined with restaurants and cafes and bars. It's a great spot in the center of town. From Avignon, you can make several easy day trips to some fascinating nearby locations, such as Pont du Gard, the ancient Roman aqueduct, or the city of Arles, famous as the home of Vincent van Gogh. How about Les Baux, a stone village carved into the bauxite? And there's Saint-Rémy, a charming little place at market day especially. You can also make time for the town of Uzès with its medieval arcades around the Central Place, a peaceful green oasis. These are towns of enduring charm with their pedestrian lanes and ancient buildings and craft fairs, weekly markets, little boutique shops and restaurants to keep you busy. There's a laid-back, local, peaceful feeling in these smaller towns. You can get around by train and bus, but you'll probably find that a private tour package provides transportation and takes good care of you. Two other cities easy to reach from Avignon are Marseilles and Aix-en-Provence. The high-speed TGV train will get you to Marseille in 1 hour. And from the station, you can walk down to the heart of town, which is the Inner Harbor, a beautiful marina surrounded by many restaurants. Another TGV will take you up to Aix. You'll most likely begin your explorations of Aix on the main street. It's the Cours Mirabeau, sometimes considered the most attractive boulevard in all of France. Into the pedestrian zone, which is an idyllic urban landscape of pretty low-rise buildings 3 and 4 centuries old, crisscrossed by a maze of tranquil pedestrian lanes lined with shops and cafes. Aix-en-Provence is so lovely that various French surveys have chosen it the most desirable city in which to live. This automobile-free zone is only about 1/2 mile across, so you can see most of it in a few hours. But it feels larger because the lanes are narrow and winding in a pleasant tangle. The next major destination in this trip through southern Europe is the city of Nice, along the fabulous Côte d'Azur. We are taking you to Nice along the beautiful shores of the French Riviera. We'll walk the little lanes and look at some shops. We'll show you the beach, the open market at Cours Saleya, and bring you on a walking tour through the old town. We'll be spending 3 days in Nice because there is so much to see in the city and also in the nearby towns along the Côte d'Azur. The first thing we want to do is head down to the waterfront, to the beautiful beach, and take some pictures. It's a lovely, long and broad beach. One of the greatest waterfront strolls to be found anywhere is this Promenade des Anglais. At this end, you'll find the Cours Saleya, a block inland from the water, one of the great outdoor food markets and picturesque spots of Europe. The old town maze of narrow lanes occupies a triangular slice about 300 yards long on each side. So this old town is not a huge area that you're going to get lost in, but you'd be amazed at how big it seems as you're walking around because of all the little lanes and alleys that somehow connect and interconnect, so you might end up walking around in circles a little bit, which makes it seem much bigger than it really is. You'll obviously take time to explore Nice's main commercial street, Avenue Jean Médecin, stretching about 10 blocks from Place Masséna north to the train station, and packed with many boutiques and anchored at the lower end by the large department store, Galeries Lafayette. You can see on the map of downtown how the main street goes right through the middle, just near the old town and the busy shopping hub of Place Masséna. There is a convenient new tram service in Nice running along the main avenue, practically from the beach and all the way to the train station and beyond, which makes it very easy to get from one end of town to the other. Now it's a great place for pedestrians and bicycles and people, and the tram running down the middle. We're exploring more of the beautiful French Riviera, traveling by train from Nice to Cannes. It's an easy trip. It only takes about 30 minutes. It's 40 kilometers in distance, and they've got a couple trains every hour. So Nice makes a very good home base from which you can get out to see beautiful cities such as Cannes. The train station is right in town, so in a few minutes walking you'll reach the pedestrian zone. The compact size and layout of Cannes make it very easy to navigate on foot. There's three basic areas. There's the old town, there's this beachfront area, and then you have the shopping downtown area with its pedestrian lanes and very elegant Rue d'Antibes. Several other lovely towns are easily reached from Cannes, either by train or public bus, such as Antibes, just 10 minutes away by train. This entire stroll through the village of Antibes only takes a couple of hours into this pedestrian zone of the old town of Antibes, and stroll about for an hour or two, maybe sit at a cafe, grab some lunch, pass the marina to a gate in the city wall that will lead you into the old town, which is a small area just several hundred yards long and wide, but wonderful to explore and riddled with dozens of tiny lanes. At the center of the old town, you will find the Place Nationale. It is the place to go if you want to sit down and have a drink, or you can have a nice meal at one of the many restaurants around the place. Inevitably, you'll return again to the main pedestrian shopping lane, the Rue de la République, and it is always worth a look. It's a little bit more modern than the narrow lanes of the old town, with lots of great shops. The street is always busy with pedestrians, mostly locals out for a stroll, and the odd scooter, but there's no cars allowed. On the way back from Antibes to Nice, you can easily make a little side trip to Saint-Paul, a walled village that's become an art center. Saint-Paul-de-Vence in the south of France is one of the best preserved and prettiest medieval villages in all of Europe. Now, this is a very special town, and it's quite easy to visit because it's small. It's only about 300 meters in length and 100 meters wide. So it's easy to walk around each of the lanes, as we're going to show you beautiful lanes for strolling. We're going to take you on a walk straight through the middle of the village on the main pedestrian lane. There's a few little side streets as well. It's all pedestrianized in here. And the main action, the galleries, are along the main lane. Saint-Paul is a medieval village, stone structures that date back to the 15th and 16th centuries. Notice how the paving on the lanes is precise and beautiful. It's so carefully arranged, the sidewalk looks as if it's a mosaic picture. If you're here in the late twilight, it can be even more beautiful than during the daytime. The shops will stay open into the evening. Lucky there had been a light rain shower that watered the cobblestones so that they would glisten After your visit, head back out through the walls to the main street, and there you will find the bus stop. Get on the bus and it's an easy ride back to Nice. It takes about 1 hour. The bus will take you all the way back into the heart of the city. From Nice, there is one more easy day trip that you would find very rewarding, and that's over to Monaco. You can get there by train, but you'll probably find that it's easier and more scenic to go by bus. And this bus is an amazing bargain. It's only €2, about a half an hour bus ride to Monaco. So we'll walk around, show you the palace, the casino, the marina, and the beautiful sights of this amazing little country. You will inevitably be drawn straight to the casino. From the casino, we're walking over to the bus stop a couple of blocks on this beautiful Avenue des Beaux-Arts, a wonderful shopping street. And there we'll catch the city bus that'll bring us up the hill to the old town. Driving through the modern town, notice how beautiful it is. The stores are elegant. And in a few minutes you arrive at the old town, hop off the bus, get to walk through these cobble lanes of the old town. This is where Monaco first began. Oh, that was way back in the 1300s and 1400s. You notice how densely packed this city is. Perfect place for a group photograph. This lookout is right next to the Prince's Palace, which is the official royal residence of Monaco. Albert II is the reigning monarch of Monaco, and he's married to Charlene, the Princess of Monaco. She was a South African commoner, but an Olympic swimmer. Here's the marina at twilight as we whiz by these wonderful yachts. We'll be taking the 30-minute intercity bus ride back to Nice in a little while, but first we're going to have a final look around the town in the evening, a beautiful view of the casino at night. We're moving along to our next major destination, which is entering Italy and visiting Cinque Terre and Portofino. We're arriving by train in the town of Santa Margherita Ligure, which is going to be our home base for several days, while we explore some beautiful towns along the Italian Riviera coastline, including Portofino and Cinque Terre. The small village of Riomaggiore is at the southern end of the beautiful collection of villages called Cinque Terre in the Ligurian shores of Italy. A view of the next town along the coast, Manarola. UNESCO has designated this entire coastline as a World Heritage Area. Manarola is another one of the beautiful towns of Cinque Terre. And when you get to Manarola, you want to walk through the village and walk to the boat ramp, and be sure to walk out to the point where we're standing now to get this vista. Looking back, you see the pastel-colored cubic buildings just spilling down the hillside. To the train station for our departure. Only takes about 5 minutes to get from the town over to the platform, real quick. Vernazza is one of those 5 perfect villages that make up Cinque Terre in the Riviera coast of Italy along the Ligurian Sea. And right down to the little waterfront. Only takes maybe 10 minutes to walk from the station down to the harbor. Very scenic and picturesque. If you're going to be shooting the same picture over and over again, no matter what kind of camera you're using and no matter what the weather conditions, it's going to be beautiful. Now you know what a lovely village Vernazza is. One of 5 in the Cinque Terre. And we have other programs about this area. We'll be walking from Monte Rosso to the next village of Vernazza on the trail. We'll also be going there by boat, by train, and on to other villages along the coastline of Cinque Terre. So be sure to check out our other programs. And finally, we're moving along to the last city on our trip through southern Europe, Rome.
And starting out right away on a brief orientation walk. Get the feel of this fascinating city.
And what better way could there be to start out than to have a fantastic meal of some fresh pasta and fresh salad. Italian pasta. This is one of the reasons that we've come to Europe, to enjoy some fantastic foods. and that'll give you some firepower, some energy to easily get through this first afternoon. It's going to be a big day. We're going to be taking a walk right through the historic heart of Rome, Piazza Navona, onto the Pantheon, the Trevi Fountain, and the Spanish Steps. Starting out with a bang, your first walk should bring you into the Piazza Navona with its picture postcard perfect Sant'Agnese Church by Borromini. It's a good place to have your portrait sketched or perhaps just buy a scenic original watercolor painting. There's watercolors, there's oil paintings, and the wonderful thing is these are original works of art and you're buying it directly from the artist. There's no middleman involved.
Did you sign them?
So you're getting a good deal. Now from the Piazza Navona, walk 2 short blocks to the best preserved ancient building in Rome, the Pantheon. It dates back to the 2nd century and it still has its original roof intact. Well, walk behind now the left side of the Pantheon, that's the east side. First, notice the whimsical statue in front on the little piazza. It's an elephant with an Egyptian obelisk growing out of its back. It's the only significant Gothic church in Rome. Inside the church is a mix of Gothic architecture with some decor from the Renaissance and later. San Ignazio is part of the Jesuit college, and you don't want to miss this church because of its illusionistic ceiling mural that was painted during the 17th century by the Jesuit priest Andrea Pozzo. Continuing walking along in this central part of Rome, 2 blocks further on the right side you'll see the Church of Sant'Andrea della Frate, which is well worth a visit for several important items. 2 angels carved by Bernini. So Andrea della Frate is really a wonderful moment's refuge from the busy streets outside. Then we arrive at the Spanish Steps. The setting is like another painting or postcard come to life, with the curvaceous broad staircase elevating your eyes to the twin-towered Church of Trinita de' Monti, and to one of our favorite restaurants in the city, La Rampa. This place has the most incredible buffet spread, and it only costs about $11, $12 for all you can eat on one plate. And you can really pile it on there if you know what you're doing. And then continuing on to the Via del Corso, this really is the shopping heart of Rome, and it's great to get away from the cars, away from the motorcycles, and enjoy some pedestrian ambiance. There's plenty of restaurants here. There's sidewalk restaurants and cafes. It's a great gathering spot, major hangout for locals and visitors alike. Well, you're probably ready for some refreshments, perhaps some rich Italian ice cream. 4 short blocks away at Giolitti's, one of the city's most famous gelateria. Ah, gelato. Why don't you try several unusual flavors together, topped with the complimentary whipped cream. Gelato is served at a softer texture than American ice cream, so the flavor really comes through. That's a quick summary of our tour through the south of Europe, from Spain through France into Italy. This is one of the great trips of the world. We have many more movies about each of these places. Be sure to look for them in our collection. We also have a longer movie about this same trip from Barcelona to Rome through the south of France. You can find a link to that movie in the description down below, and also right on the screen right here. We frequently upload new movies, so please subscribe to our channel and click that little alarm bell so you'll be notified. And if you enjoyed the movie, how about a thumbs up? And we always welcome comments down below. Or if you have questions about the destination, make note and we'll answer them. Thanks for watching.